Q&A section for GoGreen. I'm believing it has been a great demo day and hope you all are enjoying the time and effort put in all by all the startups. In this Q&A section, you will be able to ask questions to GoGreen regarding their business plans, strategies, models, plus understanding more about the startup themselves. You can paste your questions on the chat box in the Q&A section. We will be having typically 45 minutes for this whole section, and I'm joined by Mrinal, who is the Chief Product Officer for GoGreen. I'm Siddharth, and I lead the investments and deals for E4 and Shell Ventures in India. With that, we should be good to go.
Hi, Siddharth, and hi, everyone. This is Mrinal from GoGreenEOT, and I'm from the product development side. I think you can shoot your questions now.
Great. So, Mrinal, welcome. And we do have good questions coming up. I'll kind of start with the first question, which says, what is the critical differentiation of GoGreen? Is it on the sales and lease models or on the battery manufacturing?
Yeah, we have sales model, we have lease model also, but I'll say we are more primarily focused on to B2B segment. And we have we sell to the customers also, but it's more B2B eccentric. So I won't differentiate anything in that front.
Oh, great. Yeah. And Mrinal, I mean, can you also tell people a bit more on the company history? How the company was really formed? What are the new priorities and what's the future plan?
Okay. So our company started in 2009 as a proprietorship. And in 2009, when we came into the market, we had lead acid battery vehicles. And from lead acid battery vehicles, we used to face a little challenge, which we kept on addressing to with respect to time. And after a period of time, we realized that it's an old story now. In 2016, when we formed the company as a private limited company, we uh, were more keen on to technology. We went underground, we started research and development, we built from the scratch, and we have come up with lithium ion battery technologies since 2016. Now, if I say 2009 or 2010, that time the cost of lithium ion was $1,400 per kilowatt hour. And now, if I talk about today, it's 180 to $220 per kilowatt hour. So there's a vast difference. And I think we have done quite a lot on technology side. And with time, we have developed our interest towards the B2B segment more than the B2C segment. But I'm not saying that it's just confined to B2B segment. Yeah, we sell into the market too. Hello.
Sorry, I mean, yeah, it's a great view. And we do have a follow-up question on this, Mrinal, where can you explain a bit more on how EVs would help the B2B segment? What's the view of the company here?
Okay. So how it can help B2B segment is uh, in this era, we are talking about companies like Swiggy, Zomato, and Bounce. I'll give an example. During the COVID time, what happened is we all were locked down in our houses, and the only thing that was surviving is the delivery market. Am I right? So with the delivery market, what is the need of the hour is how do you reduce the cost of the transportation or maybe uh, delivery? Like how are you going to transport? Now, cost per kilometer is the cheapest with the electric vehicle. So that is the market we are targeting to. And for a business, it is the most prior thing to do is to save the cost, right? So in terms of B2B, yes, electric vehicle is the need of the hour.
Agree, and I think that's one hypothesis I think which we all believe in. that for the B2B segment, EVs can really help them reduce their OPEX if it is kind of executed in the right manner. So on that, Mrinal, I mean, there is again one more question which says, what is the lifespan of the vehicles and the maintenance which is associated with it?
Okay. Now in the electric vehicle segment, main thing is about the powertrain and the drive. So when we are talking about the powertrain, it's on the energy storage device, that which is your battery basically. In your battery, what happens is with time things deplete, like the performance might deplete. So generally, if the battery is of a very good quality, it might last for 3 years to 6 years. Now, what we are targeting to is we are looking for a span of 8 years. Now, this is where we are engineering our cycle to, and I think the world is moving faster at a very faster pace, right? So I think we will be able to address the same thing very soon. But I'll say in terms of a battery, yeah, right now it is, let's say, 5 years. 5 years. So within a span of 5 years, you might have to change your battery. But I think uh, in the present time, nobody uses their vehicle more than 3 years or 4 years. Am I right?
Agree. Yeah, exactly. So I think we need to kind of see, like, how often the battery needs to be replaced, and what
Correct.
factor kind of does it play in your overall cost of ownership, which people always look at, like, what's my TCO. So
Exactly.
do you have any kind of views on, what are the challenges what EVs currently have in India, around maybe lack of charging infrastructure or higher cost of ownership, or any other things which you believe?
Okay, I'll start from the basic. First, I'll say is the driver understanding. Like, if the people are more interested into the product, yes, there'll be a high demand. But I don't think so. People are like very much willing to change their mindset. That is the reason electric vehicle adoption is a little slower. Second thing is, yeah, we lack charging structure, charging infrastructure, we lack skills, and the thing is about the quality. Uh, we have noticed electric vehicles is in the news every day. So I won't say that we are lagging behind with time. Yeah, we are moving on and people are more keen to buy it. But yeah, the adoption is a little slower. So I'll focus it on that people should be interested to buy. And that's what we are trying to do. Second thing is engineering. Engineering is required for doing an electric vehicle because let's say you have a problem with your gasoline vehicle. You can directly take it to a roadside mechanic, right? Or a shop or a service center, which you might find within 100 meters, right? But with electric vehicles, you'll have to train people. And it's not on the people side or it's not on the dealership side or it's not only on the service center side, but it's about the companies also, which should be addressed by the nation. This is what is the need by the companies, by the startups, by all the major companies. If they are willing to get into the market, they should be focusing more towards the engineering side of it rather than focusing only on the business side of
Agree. Yeah, I think very very fair challenges, and I know, like, we have been 10 minutes in this Q&A section. So those of you who have joined us now, we are in the Q&A section for Go Green BOT, and you do have a chat box, or I would say kind of a section at the bottom of your web browser where you can put up questions to Go Green, either on their business models or technology or anything you want to know more or understand more after their pitch session. So please, I would say, like, feel free to ask questions to Mrinal. He's the CPO, the Chief Product Officer in the company, and would be very happy to kind of answer your questions. So Mrinal, I mean, I think I do have a follow-up questions on this challenges aspect. What do you think is the support from the government, either on the FAME policies or any other segment, which is kind of enabling the whole EV ecosystem?
it. Okay. Government has passed rupees 10,000 crores just for electric vehicle segment. And I think government is doing a tremendous job here. And things are moving fast, but it's a little slow process where we are talking about setting up infrastructure for charging, setting up infrastructure for swapping stations, right? So it's government is doing the best. It's the companies who need to take the responsibility of it now. So government has been giving 10,000 rupees per kilowatt hour of incentive to every customer. And also, I'll say you don't have to pay your road tax, you don't have to pay your registration tax, and GST also you are getting hardly 5%. So government is doing its best. Just the thing is, companies also should come into play with the technology here and support the government too.
Agree. I think, yeah, that's very fair, right? I mean, we do have a lot of policies, and I think, as you would also know, each state is coming up with their own EV policies
EV
to kind
policy.
of build and support ecosystem. So absolutely, I think you're bang on right. I think maybe on the same front, how do you think? Because some of the people are going for charging. There are a few companies which are working on battery swapping. I mean, what's the thesis which you feel will exist in the market, or will it be coexistence of both swapping and charging in the near term?
Uh, I'll say swapping won't work. Why it won't work is standardization is a little hard task here, because not all the vehicles, all the companies will have the same parameters or same specifications out there. Second thing is the only play that a company gets is onto the powertrain, drivetrain, vehicle dynamics, aerodynamics. That's all. So if you're taking the powertrain out of it, then I don't think so. There won't be any. There will be much more challenging jobs for the companies to do here, right? So for the competition, there won't be any competition then, and I won't say it won't work out. It will work out. It might work out, but it is just a remedy for a shorter span of time. If you're talking about next 5 years, yes, swapping can work out, and it can only work out with small scale vehicles, let's say two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Why? Because right now we have not keen on to the standards of the battery technology, and like every company has a different play of their own. So there it might be challenging. Second thing is, I mean, third thing is, uh, when we are talking about batteries, so I said battery depletes over time, right? So it depends on on the rider pattern, how you're using the vehicle. Let's say one user has used the battery very harshly. Second user is going to get the same battery, right? So he might not get the same kilometers that the previous rider got. So there might be challenges with the shopping industry. And if you ask me, I'm more eccentric towards charging station.
Agree. And I think, in the near term, there may be some swapping because the grid may not take all the charging infrastructure load. So yeah, you may have a swapping solution, which is kind of maybe a stopgap solution once your grid becomes more reliable. The swapping may work more on the B2B segment where you really can't afford a charging time for the two-wheeler or a three-wheeler. Like, we can't afford any downtime of the assets. In those areas, the swapping solution may still work. So I think maybe moving next, Mrinal, there's a question on specific to Go Green. What are the core benefits or technical advantages what a customer can expect when he comes to Go Green?
Okay. So I've been working with the company since uh, past few years, and I see here we are doing more into powertrain and drivetrain. We are more focused into battery technology, and the biggest challenge with an electric vehicle is about the thermal handling of it, how you are handling it thermally, and your discharge rates will affect your battery. Your life cycle matters a lot, so that's what we are trying to address onto. We have filed close to about 16 patents, out of which six have been granted. My last patent just got a grant soon, and on that, where what we were addressing was the thermal flow, how we were arranging the cells in a different fashion without using any external power source. I was able to cool the battery. So this is what we are trying to look into, and this is how the technology will boost up. If we are talking about electric vehicles, yes, you might want to expect something with respect to engineering, and the major concern is about the life of the battery. As I said initially, also, generally you might pull it up to for 5 years. But right now, the technology that we are working on, we are trying to extend it more by 3 years. So there is hell lot of engineering that we are trying to do. Same is what we are trying to expect from the other companies too, so that the idea of electric vehicles can actually happen.
Yeah, agree. And I believe, like, you're working on a lot of those core technology differentiations on the battery side, on the powertrain side for the EVs. So I think there's a question what people want to know is what is the future plan of the company? How do you see Go Green kind of growing in next few years? What are those key areas you're focusing on?
Uh, as I said earlier, we are more inclined towards the B2B segment right now, and it's about the two-wheeler market. If you see, 81% of the vehicles outside on the road are two-wheelers only. So we are trying to mesh the economy with respect to your delivery. Delivery means I'm talking about the performance of the vehicle. This is what our company future goals are. And I'm not saying that it will be with two wheelers in the future, but I'm saying that we are trying to do a lot of things, and let's see how it goes. It's under testing, it's under development.
Yeah, agree. I know. I mean, the startups do keep a lot of things very secretive about, yeah, unless they're kind of really open in the market. Uh, One more question I think is very relevant for today's time is how has COVID kind of impacted the whole EV ecosystem, both on your technical side as well as on the business side of demand?
Okay. So in COVID, we all were locked down under houses, right? Yeah, there were a little work from home, and but I'll say the only market that survived was the delivery market, and we never stopped. We were still working in during that time, and we were able to accommodate and address new aspects which we were not working on to before. So I'll say electric vehicle market is a COVID-proof market.
Yeah, okay. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, it may be COVID proof in terms of, I guess, the technology bit. But how, I mean, do you have any views on how the demand is kind of shaping up? Because, the mobility demand is kind of reduced overall in India, although there are kind of the B2B players where you're more focusing on, right? The delivery people, the food delivery, the grocery people. I think that's one section where the demand is kind of increasing. So how does these kind of things impact your company, and how do you kind of make it more future proof?
Okay. So the thing is, with the demand, I'll say COVID has affected a little on the mindset of the people, and people have started working from home. So demand is low just for the time being.
Yeah.
Demand is definitely gonna shoot up in the future, and I think market is reviving quite fast. Delivery market as well as customer market, both is gonna strike. Like now, if I say about gasoline vehicles, uh, you still have challenges with the gasoline vehicles. It is still costly. People need vehicles right now. Like people are trying to avoid public transport. So I'll say, yeah, electric vehicle market has shooted quite a lot during the lockdown. I mean, during this COVID impact. I'll say yes, it is gonna go up. it is just for the time being that you're seeing this much lag.
Yeah,
Uh, and I am still saying government is also working on that front. So I think within a short span of time we'll be good to go.
I agree. And I really feel COVID would be an inflection point for a lot of businesses in India. And mobility is one such business which would be kind of reshaped post COVID. So, absolutely agree with you. Again, so just for everyone's kind of benefit, we are in this Q&A section for Go Green startup. And those of you who have joined just now, there is a Q&A box at the end of your web browser. So feel free to ask questions to Mrinal, who is the CPO, the Chief Product Officer for GoGreen. Anything regarding the product, the company, their pitch session, what just happened a few minutes back. So they would be kind of very happy to answer. So moving ahead, Mrinal, I think there is again more question on the core technical differentiation or on the product side. So I think there's a question: how is your product better than the rest? Do you want to take it like showing the key benefits of your product compared to the competition?
Okay. So the vehicle is completely connected, like you have internet, and the vehicle is completely connected. You can track the vehicle on your app. Uh, and we have worked quite a lot on vehicle dynamics. See, in this segment, the main concern is about the energy consumption, how you're consuming the energy.
Yep.
Now, what we are trying to work on to is how can we reduce it? If I'm spending a little amount and if I'm gaining more, it's obviously a plus point. And we have executed quite a lot of things on that front. Uh, that is the reason I'll say, like, we put the problems on the table, we solve it, we file a patent for it. This is how it goes. So, yeah, we have quite a lot of things which are under development, which you'll see in the near future. But we have ready technology already, which people might not have concern to right now.
Yeah. And in a kind of a non-confidential manner, do you want to kind of briefly mention to the audience, what are those really magical things which you're working on?
Okay. Okay. What other magical things that are working on is it's about the engineering, right? I'm from the engineering background, so I'll just focus on to that. What is working is we are planning to, like, everybody has a plan, right? So we have planned things out differently, and we have business model also, um, where you can lease the vehicle also, and you can purchase a vehicle also. And we have been pushing our team towards data analytics too. Now, every day, let's say a customer covers 50 kilometers. If he's covering 50 kilometers, then I'll have a data point for it. So every pulse, I'm getting 200 data points. With those 200 data points, I'll say most of the days, we are just examining what is happening right now. And it's more towards how we are working on the mileage too. Mileage is we are giving a product which can travel up to 150 kilometers. Now, how companies will see to it is, okay, you are putting a bigger battery pack. I'll say no. I'll say
Yeah.
I'll use the same battery capacity that you're using, but my vehicle can still travel longer. This is where
Okay.
we
That's a very
are.
interesting statement to make. So there's a
Correct.
lot of, I would say, secret sauce going on where you say like with the same battery capacity, you can ask or you can let your vehicle drive for more kilometers. So I'm assuming it's a mix of software, hardware, some new kind of hybrid approach, or what exactly are you doing here?
I'm not supposed to disclose everything here, but yeah,
Yeah, no problems. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean we can
But
we can skip this question.
uh, I'll just say we have. I'll just say, okay, we have done a little work towards the thermal of the battery, like
Yeah,
how you're discharging it and how you are patterning it. Like we are seeing how you are creating a pattern. while driving. So we are
Right.
just
Yeah.
working to level it down. We are trying to distribute it well. That's all we are doing.
Got it. So you kind of, I'm assuming like you're kind of mixing or mapping a core technical product on the battery side with a very interesting business model around vehicle selling, so that you can enhance the qualities of the vehicle, the kilometers it drives, and the entire economics of the vehicle.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it
Great. Yeah. So we'll kind of wait, right? I mean, till you can unveil all these plans.
is.
Uh, so there's more question. Uh, who will you collaborate or partner with to scale up or accelerate the company?
uh, I won't say that like I'll choose a ideal and I want to collaborate with them, but I'll say companies like Amazon, companies like Reliance, companies like Apple
Yeah.
have stepped into the electric vehicle segment. Now, if they are willing to take the chance, so there is something about it, right? Now, we don't know about tomorrow, what tomorrow might bring, but we have quite a lot under the hood that we want to implement. So it depends how it goes. I cannot say anything on that right now.
No, agree. And I think following up on the same one, there's this question. I mean, how do you kind of maybe differentiate between Ether and Go Green? Because I think both of you are operating in the same space. So, I mean, what is the critical differentiation?
No, no, no. I won't say that we want to compare with any company right now. But yeah, I'll say we are more keen towards the B2B centric. And I've seen the
Yeah.
Ether vehicles are more sturdy and they are more eye catchy. So we have worked on the inner segment of the internal segment of the vehicle rather than the external. And I've seen Ether has put in a little technology also. We have done that, and I'll say just one single point. We have been doing this since a decade, right? So we have seen the challenges, we have seen the failures that happen. Vehicles burn. Lithium battery is basically a bomb. Okay, so now the companies are learning, and I really appreciate the way it works. But I won't like to compare my product with them because we have a different essence towards B2B rather
Yeah.
than B2C.
I
So
agree, and
yeah,
I think that's a very broad differentiation. What you're positioning Go Green, more B2B focus, more towards fleets and delivery people versus a B2C direct consumer play.
exactly.
Yeah. So I have one more follow-up question on the same competition thing. So then, in your opinion, who are you exactly competing with, and what's your critical plan of differentiation with your competition?
Uh, as I said, we are not competing with anyone, and I'll rather say uh, we target towards the development of the nation. So if I'm talking about the nation, I would love to see the companies growing together.
Great. And Mrinal, I mean, I believe, like from just reflecting from this conversation for half an hour, Go Green is more focusing on the charging space, right, versus swapping. I think that's where I'm assuming the key thinking is. So in that option, do you feel retrofitting of the vehicles from ICE to EVs, is that an option? What you're considering? Will that be something which will be useful for markets like India?
I have seen companies are working very hard towards it, and yeah, companies are emerging day to day into retrofitting. But I'll say that uh, it is not a very good option right now because a vehicle has been built onto certain dynamics which have been targeted to, let's say, if it is an IC vehicle, it has been made for a purpose. If it's an electric vehicle, it has been made for a purpose. Every member, every bolt and nut that you find in your vehicle has a purpose, right? You cannot just cut and replace it something elsewhere. So it is going to disturb your mass distribution, and this won't be a good idea. So let's see how it goes and how the companies are maneuvering the challenges.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of challenges around retrofitting. So I think on the same lens, Mrinal. So what is your view on charging? And I'm kind of maybe elaborating this question a bit. Is it like you feel most of the charging will happen at the endpoints, or you feel there would be a scope for on-road charging or a distributed network of charging? What's the need of the hour, and what's the model which will succeed?
How I see charging is, yes, putting charging stations, let's say within a kilometer or within 10 kilometers, is a very good idea. One thing. Second thing is these hotels, restaurants, and all the places where you might stop by
Hmm.
should have at least one charging station. In the charging station, first thing is all you need is the 220-volt system out of it. Maybe you should carry a charger, or maybe there should be an arrangement to do that. One thing is, second thing is, uh, interfacing standards is quite easy because everybody's playing with the same voltage.
Hmm.
Now, cost is low, maintenance is low, and then the only thing that comes is which type of policy we are trying to adopt. And then at the last is the demand management, how much power is needed,
Yeah,
and how the regular players are playing the game. So I'll say it's not a bad thing to charge. Let's say, you see, the thing that I'm trying to address here is you are used to using a mobile phone, you're used to using a laptop, right? You'll charge it when you need it. That's the same thing with the electric vehicle. And most of the people are charging their mobile phones, are charging their, uh, let's say, batteries at the night time when they are going to sleep.
right.
So
Yeah.
I don't find it as a problem where you have to just plug in your charger and you're good to go. Now, in terms of, let's say, you are driving on a highway and you are low on charge, you have another 50 kilometers to go. So you can just stop by, find a restaurant. Basically, it might be near a restaurant or something. You can go there, spend your time, relax a bit, and you're good to go 50 kilometers in just in half an hour or maybe a 1 hour. Depends on vehicle to vehicle, right? So I think charging infrastructure is a better idea than the stopping infrastructure. But what we like, it's not like I'm not saying that we are not going towards swapping. Yes,
Yeah.
we might hit the road. And with the swapping, we have done a few trials also, and we have made the vehicles quite agile that it can suit the swapping requirements as well as the charging requirements.
Got it. So, Mrinal, I mean, do you want to share with the audience a brief snapshot of where the company is as of now? What's the stage of development of these different pieces we just spoke about in last half an hour?
Okay, uh, the product that we had earlier was a product named Sonoti. Now we have come up with the second variant of it. We have modified the chassis. We have done the vehicle dynamics on it, and the motor is also less powered. So you'll get a 55 kilometer per hour running vehicle, and you can travel up to about 150 kilometers. And we have tried to make it cost friendly too. So this is the latest vehicle that is in the market, and so sales figure are yet to come. But yeah, obviously, it's connected also. Like if I see in the B2B segment,
Yeah.
you have an app, and we are continuously analyzing the data coming out of it, and this is the product that we have deployed right now. And we have a few more under the hood, which you might see soon.
Okay. No, that's great. So, hey, we have like kind of last 10 more minutes left in this discussion. And for people who have just joined us, we are in discussion with GoGreen, which is an EV manufacturing company, along with having a unique battery technology, what they deploy on their own e-vehicles. So feel free to kind of ask questions in the chat box in your web screen. We are speaking with Mrinal, who is the CPO of the company, and he will be kind of happy to answer those questions. So great. I'll kind of pick up maybe a few more questions for you, Mrinal. Uh, so I think one question which is coming up is any views on the hybrid battery approach? Is that something, or even hybrid vehicles approach? Is that something which you feel would kind of be successful in the markets?
I think government has been quite skeptical about it, and with hybrid battery system, I mean, I won't say hybrid battery, but I'll say with the hybrid system, it's a little challenging, and we have not yet seen very successful stories on it. But if you're talking about a complete electric vehicle, you have a few examples out there. So I don't really believe in hybrid vehicles, but yeah, as I said, if you're looking at a shorter span of time, but and if the technology is moving forward, it might come into play definitely.
No, great. And I think no, that's very fair view. And any kind of views on, I know, like, we did speak about you are targeting the B2B segment and not B2C segment. So any views why you are kind of so bullish about B2B segment adopting the EVs and not the B2C?
Okay. Why we are so bullish about B2B segment is uh, there are 1 million delivery boys out there. If I just take an example of a city called Bangalore, we have more than 25,000 delivery boys working with Swiggy, Zomato, Bounce, and etc. etc. So I think you have quite a lot of audience over there, and every company needs a transportation inside or outside. Every industry needs. You might have to deliver your goods, and if I'm talking about last mile delivery, 57% of the total cost of delivery is your last mile delivery, and which can be fulfilled with an electric vehicle. And if I'm talking about electric vehicles, let's say you are spending 2 rupees a kilometer from your gasoline vehicle. With the same thing, I can spend 17 paisa
Yeah.
a kilometer. So there's a vast difference, right? Like you can uh, save a lot of amount, and these kind of vehicles are present in every industry, every offices, every person has a vehicle for their own needs. Like every industry will have it. So that's what we are trying to target. And if I'm talking about in the B2B segment, uh, we have worked with a few companies. We have given some trials. I won't. I'll say what I'll say is per let's say one day one trip is made of 35 kilometers by a delivery boy. So we have taken out, jotted down the data points from all the delivery companies. We have made the vehicle prior to that. So why we are targeting only B2B is there is a lot of opportunities present there.
Yeah. Agree. And I think, the even the high utilization of those B2B segment can give really the economics which is meant for the EVs to kind of succeed.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah, completely believe with you on this. So hey, I think we have lost 5 more minutes, and we'll kind of start to wrap. And maybe I'll take a couple of more questions. So please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box, and I'll kind of check if there's some more questions. And there we had a host of things. Uh, but hey, any kind of views again on I would say the whole dynamics which you want to share about the EV ecosystem, about the company. I'll kind of maybe give you a few more minutes, Mrinal. Like, I mean, if you want to share something specific about Go Green, you want to leave all of us with a message on the company or on the EV ecosystem. So I'll kind of hand it over to you.
Okay. I'll just be very honest with what I believe in with the electric vehicles. We have a lot of opportunity on that front. And with electric vehicles, we are just not talking about a piece of cake. It's something new, and it's like we don't know how to tackle with it. Last few months, I've been seeing to some videos where electric vehicles were being burned. your battery can explode. So that's where the companies will have to maneuver their technology towards, and I'm sorry. So that's where the companies will have to maneuver the technology towards, and uh, it's not only about the battery, it's about the whole uh, powertrain side of what we are talking to change. So yes, skills is what the country needs, and I'll say the more countries are stepping into, I've seen more startup companies are doing a lot better job than the major companies. So government is supporting, and this is the right time to implement your technology. This is the right time to follow this lead. So we have been there in the market for past decade. So it's a long time. It's a big time. In this time, we have learned a lot of things, and which we are willing that we can deliver the best product to the delivery companies, to the businesses, and to the customers. So what I will say is, just there should be a little coordination with the companies and with the government, so that we can make this dream happen in our own country.
I think yeah, that's a very fair thing. So maybe we'll take just one last question and before we wrap. So there's a question which says, hey, Swiggy doesn't offer the vehicles to the delivery staff, right? So
Yeah.
how does Swiggy or Bounce become your B2B clients?
uh it's not like that. They came to us, like we had a test run on that front, and I just gave an example of Swiggy. I'm just not saying that it's just restricted to Swiggy and Zomato. But yes, companies are targeting towards electric vehicles. Companies are willing to give their own vehicles rather than using a petrol vehicle, because let's say a delivery boy, they have to make the payment also, right? For the payment, for the fuel, for the travel. So company is spending a huge amount. Instead of that, few companies have already working onto it. We have got, uh, I'll tell you one regular story, that we had a 10,000 vehicles order before lockdown, and just after lockdown that same order went to 18,000 vehicles. So yes, there is a demand, and yes, companies are working on their business models, how they can shift towards it.
Agreed. Great. So with that, I think we are just at the right end of the time. So thank you so much, Mrinal. I know it has been a fantastic discussion with you, and thank you everyone for tuning in and putting their questions. It has been a fantastic demo day, and we really hope you have enjoyed it. And remember, you can access the recordings of these Q&A sessions when the event has kind of wrapped up. And still, if you want to do contact the startups, you can access the event website. So do connect with them. And thank you once again for joining in. And really, we hope you have a wonderful E4 demo day. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you for that.